Welcome to the Academy for Womanhood. My name is Naima, and my company helps women come into full power. Before I get deeper into today's topic of open to that, so there's nothing left to, I'd like to share that we release a weekly newsletter. Every Monday, we release a newsletter called the Er0tic Path Newsletter. You can subscribe to that newsletter with the link in the description if you're on YouTube. And on TikTok, you can subscribe to the newsletter with the link in my bio. The newsletter covers from different angles how a woman, and men, frankly, can come into true power. So it's riveting, it's cutting edge, it's primal, it's triggering, uncomfortable for some people. And so just some FYI about what that newsletter is like. Moving on. So in yesterday's newsletter, because the newsletter releases every Monday, so every single Monday, the newsletter releases. And yesterday, the topic was what to do with a woman's hunger. What to do with a woman's hunger. I repeat, the topic of our weekly Er0tic Path newsletter that releases every Monday. Yesterday's title was what to do with a woman's hunger, deep, genuine desire. Okay. Now, what I almost titled the newsletter was this. I almost titled the newsletter this. Now, there was so much, the topic is something I could write a book about or a series of books about. And so this right here is a synopsis. And one thing I didn't say in the newsletter that I want to say now is that, one, I'm aware that this is triggering, this is intense. I'm already seeing, questions about it here on TikTok. And let me, on top of this whole conversation we're getting ready to have, and you can basically park this above any and every conversation relating to a human being sincere about power, and that is, most humans do not want their power. The things today, when we look around at society and we look at all the pain, all the things that we call psychotic problems, mental illness, the men and the violence that's happening worldwide, masochism, sadism, fill in the blank. And I talked about this in the newsletter yesterday. All the human problems, okay, all the human emotionality, anything and everything you can point to, jealousy, envy, greed, war, all of it can be traced back to, one, a lack of human connection, and in order for humans to genuinely connect, I mean all humans, no matter their race, age, ethnicity, religion, sex, location in the world, every single human being, in order to connect with the whole human being, not just the part of the human being that you like, not just the part of the human being that you resonate with because we went to the same school and we like the same color, and we both like sports, and we both have adult children, and we both come from this generation, and we both like this food, and we speak the same language and have the same religion. Not just the parts that you agree with, you understand, they make sense to you, you like, but also the parts of the human that are undesirable or deemed by you and or society as undesirable. And so let me build on this again. In order for all humans to be full functioning powered humans, I repeat, for all breathing human beings to be in connection with all other breathing human beings in the fullness of themselves, they have to be open to connecting with the aspects of that human being. The problem is that shame is the rot in the underbelly of society. I repeat, shame is the rot in the underbelly of all of society. What do I mean? Now, I want to reiterate this. Any conversation that's being had about true power with humans and why most humans don't want power, why most humans don't want to pay their rent. And when I say paying rent, I mean returning back to who you were at birth in a refined way. Again, all of this goes above any conversation talking about humans being in full power, able to be in the deep human connection that all breathing humans want. And shame being the rot underneath. And it starts when we are young. I talked about this in the weekly newsletter called the Er0tic Path that goes out every week, every Monday. And I'm going to get to this topic right here because this topic right here is the high level of power that most humans don't want. Most of you do not want to be responsible for dissolving the shame in you. Most of you don't want to be responsible for facing the darkness in you. Most of you don't want to be responsible for being an embodiment of unconditional love. Most of you do not want to be responsible for yourselves wholly. And this is why we project onto Satan when we project onto, because he did it, because those people, because that religion, because that country, and we're constantly projecting, rejecting different aspects of the human, which are, by the way, reflections of a rejected being. So let me return to the shame component and taking it back to childhood. Now, all of you have parents, yes, no? You have a mother and you have a father, right? Whether you were raised by them or not, or whatever that relationship was like, you have a mother and you have a father. Your first, let's say, 7 years on earth, you learned about how to be down here based on what life was like in that home where you were raised, whether it was a foster home with your biological parents, somewhere else, you were raised in a home. Now, for those of you who either have small children or you have grown children, so you know what small children are like, children know nothing about shame. Children don't know shame. They have to be taught shame, okay? Most children get formed by whatever is the rule and the standard in that house. You watching how your mother behaves, you watching how your father behaves. And then also as a child, because we're incredibly insightful and we can see, because we haven't been dirtied by the world yet, we can even see the ways that our parents lie. And this ties to what I have said oftentimes, that we don't realize how much we're psychically binding our children because we think we can just lie to them and just tell them things and they don't see it. They don't get what's going on. So this is how we imprison our children psychically. Okay. Anyway, so your children, your 2-year-old, your 3-year-old children who they can see things and you think because you're the adult and you know that somehow you can just pretend with your 2-year-old and your 3-year-old. And how many of you have been called out by your 3-year-old? You've been called out by your 5-year-old, shit that they're not supposed to know, or it just blows your mind or triggers a shame in you that your child can see something that you've been lying about, hiding about, okay? So in the house where you were raised, you learned how to protect yourself, how to belong, what made you bad. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is wrong. Oh, taking things from people is wrong. Oh, okay. So I can't take for things. I have to ask for things. Like one example that I was going to give in the newsletter that I ended up not using is my niece. When she was 2 years old, she would just go to the pantry and get chips. She likes Ruffles, potato chips. So she would just go to the pantry and get chips. And then we started telling her, no, you can't just go get the Ruffles. You have to ask for them. Okay. So we taught her that you can't just see something, want it, and take it. You have to ask for it. But prior to that, she would just take it, right? I'm going somewhere with this. Then she learned that pleasantness, smiling, Appearing pleasant gets you the things that you want. Okay, right? We know this, right? Being pleasant, appearing cordial, appearing kind is how you ask for them. You don't go and say, I want this, give it to me. I want this. I want this. I want this, right? That's just one example of how we learn what's considered good, what's bad, what gets me this, what doesn't get me that, what gets me in trouble, what makes me people not like me. Oh, this makes me, people like this, so I'll do like this. Oh. And you learn in the house, you learn at church, you learn with other family members. Then when you get out to school, peer pressure starts, right? You get kindergarten, and that's where you start programming your kids in the classroom, right? All the other kids bringing all the programming that they got from their home into the classroom. And this is where if race was never discussed in your home, right? And you go to school and you're black and some child calls you a nigger, you don't really know what that means. But because of the way they said it, you're like, what does that mean? And then you go home and Mom, this kid said nigger to me. What does that mean? Right? So you pick up all this data to come to conclusions about how to be in the world. Now, most of us do not have free parents. What do I mean? I mean parents who are psychologically free, who are financially free, who live as embodiments of unconditional love. Most of us do not have parents like this. We don't have parents who are wise and in awareness of the workings of the unconscious mind. Most of us do not have parents of understanding being whole beings and how we are polar, that we possess dark and light, and how to work with the dark and light in our beings, and how to unify ourselves, and how to love and how to be present with another human being's darkness, and how to do extraordinary things in the world. Most of us do not have parents who are like this. Most of us have parents who are unhealed in their own trauma. Most of us have parents who, many of them don't like themselves. Many of us have parents who they got pregnant with us on an accident and they were children having children. Most of us have parents who deal with their own shame and rejection of themselves and have never stepped into their own power. We have parents who are very hooked into the limitation of religion, right? Most of us, our parents are like this. And so this is what they taught us. Because I know it's so easy to get hooked into now. We have a lot of new people here. This is a higher conversation that exists in the domain of power that most people don't want. I'm introducing you, perhaps you, for the first time, to a level of frequency, knowledge, and power that most of you will never have access to. This is what starts to trigger a real war. A lot of these wars out here are fake. The real war starts when we start getting into the true power and love of the human in mass. That's when the real war begins. Because everyone who's in rejection of full power, all the little kids running around planet Earth in adult bodies who don't want to be responsible for their full power, will want to war with those of you who are sincere about supreme power and love. All these other wars are just distractions from the supreme one. Okay, now I continue. So you at 5 years old, you learn shame. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you learn by how your mother and father interact with you. You learn to be ashamed of, as I shared in my newsletter, how you dance. The number of women who were dancing a certain way, exploring their body, and their mother says something like, "Why are you dancing like that?" And the child felt the judgment or lack of receptivity of how she moves in her body by how her mother or her father questioned how she was dancing at 10, 11, 12. And that made her cut herself off from an aspect of herself that brought her alive. Okay. Or if as a child, your mom or father constantly tells you no when you ask for things that you really, really want. You wanted to get into art. You wanted to sing. You wanted to do creative things. And your parents constantly told you no. And what that does is over time, that has you start to just automatically tell yourself no about things you actually want. And you don't understand now at 35, 45, 55 years old, why do you tell yourself no to the things that you really want? Okay. So those are just two examples of how we learn shame. We learn scarcity. Okay. Now, another thing that we learn, because so much of that learned scarcity and learned shame is a way to smallen ourselves. Because for those of you who have small children, your small children are rambunctious. They are bright. They don't know this, okay? They don't know suspicion. They don't know all the skepticism and all the behaviors that adults live in who have been burned in the world, okay? So, but living in the house with your parents, you will learn to be skeptical. You will learn, right? If your parents are skeptical, they're small, they're afraid, they live scarce. You will learn that over time. And as I talked about in the newsletter yesterday, women learn to be suspicious of their own desire, their deep felt sense, and the part of you that knows, right? For those of you, again, who have small children, your small children are very clear. They're very pure. They're not weighed down by self-doubt. And can I do it? And they're going to tell me no. And am I going to fit in? Because they're not weighted down with all of that, they are just knowing. They're calling you out. They can see things that you think you're hiding. They can see things that you can't see. Okay? And so to be at that level of yesness oneself is typically stripped and is gone out of a woman by the time she gets to 15, 20, 25. And most definitely by the time she gets to 35, 45 years old. Okay? So you need to stay with this. The replay will be up on YouTube. This is a collective big conversation. Okay? This is a big conversation. And all you microwave people in the comments, what is this? What is this title? What is this title? What is this? Oh my God, what is this? What is this? You microwave people who don't want to think. You microwave people who want quick little answers. You microwave people who are just scrolling TikTok and you saw something and was like, what the fuck? But you don't really care. You're not going to do research. You don't want your power. You're not sincere about being a mature adult who's responsible for full power. You either sit down, be quiet and listen and get your adrenaline, dopamine seeking being out of here, or you stay and calm down. I reiterate, and I will say this for those of you who are new here, who are children in adults' body, who refuse full power, who love to blame and reject. You're not clear-hearted, clear-sighted, and you don't know power, you don't care about power, and you don't know how ignorant you are. Okay, my name is Naima. I'm the founder of the Academy for Womanhood, and my company has products and services and community helping men and women who are sincere about full power, being fully responsible for themselves. If you don't care about that, if you feel like you want to attack what I'm saying, judge it, be mean and say mean, ugly, rude things, just leave. You know you can do that, right? You can just scroll on to the next TikTok live. Do that, okay? Now, by the time a woman gets to 35, the part of her that was vivacious and bright and dancing and curious and exploring and just knew and was on, by the time we're 35, most of us are suspicious of our own light. We're suspicious of our desire. We reject our bodies. We are neck up women. We're afraid to feel deeply, to explore, to respond to what we know at a high level. Okay? So what does that mean? That means we start to walk around, even though we may be going to work, going, to Target, going to get coffee, taking the kids to school, doing other things. On an energy level, we're very much like this, walking around Earth. Okay. Again, you may walk to go to Target, to go get coffee, to drop your kid, just getting out the car to get gas and right? You might just look like a regular woman just walking around living a normal life, but on an energy level, you're very repressed and closed and loaded with shame and scarcity and doubt. This is a much higher conversation, but it is time. And this is what I didn't say in the newsletter, but I'm saying it now. It is time for humans to grow up emotionally, psychologically. Humans are dumb, ignorant, and stupid because they have been programmed that way over time. The way we have 25, 35, 45, 55, 65-year-old human beings who do not know who they are. You have been dumbed down. It is time for you to be struck with light, struck with knowledge, struck with power. If you want to be mad at yourself. It is time to grow up. I don't give a fuck about no war. I have been fortified. I know what the fuck is going on around here. Okay? Many of you have mothers who were children in adult bodies because shame was put in her. And when you are not sincere about your heart, refining your own heart, looking at the darkness and the evil in yourself, you will project it onto me, to your children, to your brother, to your mom, to your boss, to your coworker, to the chick at Target, to the person who you pay to get your gas, to your neighbor, to that man on the road, to that homeless person. You will project onto all these people when you reject the evil devil in yourself. There is no Satan, you are Satan. There is no devil, you are the devil. Get mad all you want. Report and do everything you want. This is what it is. This is where you have been dumbed down. We as a collective have been dumbed down, and it is time for you people to grow up. You don't want it, move on. Move on and go join all the other children in adult bodies who reject the responsibility of being a sentient being on this planet. Now, to get back to the explanation of this topic, this is not a quick, fast thing. This is all connected. And it started at birth, and the birth of your mom, and the birth of her mom, and the birth of her mom, and it keeps on going. This is knowledge. You sit down, get still, and listen, or you move on. It's that simple. So now here you are, 25, 35, 45 years old, and you just walk around skeptical. It's just your normal state now. Now you're programmed. It's done. The work is done. The shame is in you deep, invisible, hidden from you. You don't even realize it. All you know is you can't seem to come out in the world and create what you most want. You got all these ideas about being this vivacious big person, but somehow you can't come out here and be in relationships the way you want. You hate men. Men hate you. These children get on your fucking nerves. You starting and stopping. Okay? Now, this right here, now I'm getting ready to connect it. Open to grape, so there's nothing left to grape. Now, because women and men, frankly, I'm speaking to women right now because I know that's mostly who's listening. This is with men too. Men walk around skeptical, scared too. But a woman is a portal. Okay? You're a very particular portal. You walk around with a womb. You have a very different connection than the male. When you open and you do the work of refining your heart, all this is what most of y'all are not going to do. So this is what I'm talking about. You're not going to really be able to do it until you really refine your heart. So all of these women who think they in some power, who are closed-hearted and broken-hearted, you just become a modified demon. Okay, so go talk to your church pastor if you got questions about that, if you really want to know. Okay? Until you refine your broken heart, your hurting heart, until you heal the shame that lives inside of you right now, until you on some level reconcile your fear of death. You see how supreme this is? You see how supreme this is? You microwave people who want 5 steps to, you see how supreme the level of responsibility, reconciling your fear of death. You see that? You gonna go talk to your pastor about reconciling your fear of death, or go talk to your mom or your sister, your spiritual teacher? Are you ready to face the shame and darkness and evil in you? Are you ready to you ready to do that? You ready to look at the part of you that's destructive and petty, the part of you that's still a little child in an adult body, and to face every part of you that fears being rejected and unloved and disowned? You ready to face that? You ready to face the evil in you? You got to do this kind of work if you're going to walk around as an open being. Now, because I need to get to Pilates, I'm going to condense, okay? Because I got to get to class. There's a scripture, I think it's in the Bible, but it's in other places said differently as well, where it says, she who seeks to save his or her life loses it. He who seeks to save his or her life loses it. Now, what? Huh? It's another way of saying what I'm saying now. It's counterintuitive. Let me repeat this, and you can go look at your Bible and get it verbatim in your Bible. He or she, and he means humanity, who seeks to preserve his life loses his life. Now, it's pretty much human nature to want to preserve one's life, right? Like, if you feel like something was happening where you was about to die, you gonna kick in the gear to not die, right? This is what I mean by this is high level, and most humans don't want it. Most of us like that there's a Satan because we can put it all on Satan. Most of us like that there's a devil because, see, the devil did it. The devil made me do. Most of us love the idea of the end times because we don't even really want to be in our power. So we want some outside external force to come and get rid of this shit. Just right, it's the end. Take it. I want this shit to end because I don't really want to be in full power down here. So, opening as a human being and truly being open. I'm not talking about this way that these spiritual communities got y'all talking about light and love and I'm just an open vessel. No, I'm talking about that kind of opening that is a result of you purifying your heart. The kind of true opening, because it's all energy, that happens when you truly recognize at a physiological, visceral, healing level that you are the devil, that you are the hand of it all. All the stories that you walk around with to help you make sense of why the world is the way it is, you choose to have that story be how you see the world. Like, how do you see the world? Oh, it's a mess. That's how you choose to see the world. Oh, it's the end times. Okay, that's how you choose to see the world. Because people have been talking about the end times for centuries, right? This is not it's the end times. They've been talking about the end times, okay? There's always an end because there's always a beginning. You can have an ending today and a beginning in 5 minutes, a beginning tomorrow. Man, this is much bigger. However you're choosing to see life, you are choosing to see it that way. However anything, mad at your mom about this, you could choose to reconcile and no longer be mad at your mom, mad at the government, mad at him, seeing your children as a burden, seeing your power as a burden, how you carry power. You can change all of that. Again, this is what I mean by most people don't want this level of responsibility, which is why they like having a Satan, because then they can say Satan did it. They can say, oh, them entities that are making humans do things. No, that's humans who don't want their power. And so they like to stay in the pattern that they're in. I heard a dude talking about this morning. No, this is humans who don't want, because I'm telling you, it is a high responsibility to be in power as an individual. So this right here is me putting it like straight to the point. This video has been me describing how to get here. Now, this is all energy. This is all energy what I'm talking about, because when you reconcile your heart, An energy opens. It's an opening energy. Okay. Now, open to grape. So there's nothing left to grape. That's the expression. Now, a predator, a grapist, part of the allure of grape is taking something that doesn't want to be taken. I repeat, when a grapist is assessing prey, when a grapist is assessing prey, part of the allure is taking something that doesn't want to be taken. When you, as a woman who's loaded down with shame, predatory energy, because niggas is violent, niggas mad at men, this whole pride that women have around like ignoring men, don't give them no attention, I walk right by them, closed, scared, walking around with shame, rejecting, decenter men, 4B, and everybody's so loud and proud, running around. Yeah, decenter men, because them niggas is predators. They're evil. They're... You see how, again, that's you projecting your own evil as well? Because I know you trying to tell me, you ain't trying to tell me and all of us that you ain't evil. That you ain't got some unreconciled darkness in yourself, and that's why you was even open to that nigga dick. That's why you was even open to the nigga to begin with. You see what I mean by you love having a Satan, a devil, to project the devil in you. You see that? You see that? You think a woman who is in full ownership of herself and responsibility of her power just gonna blindly let the devil put his dick in her? Believe me, a woman who's in her real power, if the devil put his dick in her, she wants it there. She chose it for to be here. The rest of y'all come like you the good feminine goddess power thing. And you, and then this nigga is just the devil because niggas is predators and just came. No, bitch. You are disownership of the darkness and evil in you. You and him were a vibrational match, and you open up your legs and let that nigga put his sperm in you. And now you mad, and now you want to offload the responsibility of your power onto him. Clean it up. See? But again, most of y'all don't want this level of responsibility. Most of y'all don't want this kind of power over your life. If you do want it, that's when you come over to my company. I can see through you. Okay? If you want your power, if you want to be bigger than this is when you come over to my company. Okay? And you can go to the link in my bio and see what there speaks to you now. Okay? Now, you walking around clothes full of shame, decenterment, niggas ain't shit, they predators. Look at how they doing. They all walking around clothes like this. And to a predator, that's very alluring. Okay, to like a grapist, actual grapist, that's very alluring because they love to take from women who don't want to be taken from. That's part of the allure. Okay, versus when a woman has a heart that's been reconciled. Daddy didn't love you, mama didn't love you, mad at the world, baby daddy shit, whatever, heartbreak. And you truly do the work, which is very difficult. It's painful to reconcile your heart, but you do all this work, which opens you. When you walk to get your gas, when you go to Target, when you go to do all these things in the world, you vibrate as a spacious, open being. When you face the devil in you, everything that's dark in you, mean, evil, petty, vindictive, sour about some past things, things that your mama did, your sister did, and blah, blah, and you face all the darkness in you and you truly come home to it and you are an acceptance of love of yourself and love and compassionate towards yourself, that immediately, and over time, but you're able to be this at will, immediately opens you. You vibrate like this when you walk around. When you are truly at this level of open, which you cannot fake, Y'all think y'all putting on bitch faces and you trying to just hold your breath and act like you powerful and know what you're doing and you confident, but really you just holding your breath, waiting for the moment to pass. And as soon as you get out of people's sight, you go back to your same old shit. You can't fake this. This takes work. This is the wave of the future. I'm telling you, you motherfuckers is going down, bitch. Everything burning down, falling down, overwhelmed, crashing out, bitch. This is the future. That's why. Okay? So, you do this work that I'm talking about. You're in a true state of spaciousness, which enables you to come out here and do all the things that gods do. I'm talking about supreme gods. Okay? Now, when you walk around spacious, open, truly, you're not outside to see him judging, because you recognize that man over there, that woman over there, that child over there is you. Again, because you've reconciled and done the work with yourself. And this is everything my company helps you to do. Again, you can go to the link in my bio and see what option there is for you. You walk around like this, and a grapists are always scanning the scene for prey. You don't even know he a grapist. You're at the grocery store, you're at the gas station. You don't even see him because they just, how they move. And his eyes come across you. He doesn't hang out there because there's nothing about you that looks like it doesn't want to be taken. That vibrates like a closed off, decenter, scared, full of shame, which is why you open, which it sounds easy. Oh, just open. But you see why I just explained the way I did? So you have the context for what I mean when I say open. It's not just you wake up and I'm going to be open today. I'm just open. Because in your unconscious mind, you're scared. In your unconscious mind, you still are a little girl who's looking for somebody to save you. And that's why you were so affected by that love bombing. Because you so want to be saved and loved and taken care of and covered that he was able to come and love bomb you and do all those things, and you just melted all over it. Because in your unconscious mind, which is where the work happens, you see what I mean? By the actual work it takes to become an adult, emotionally, vibrationally, it's difficult. Yeah, and it's worth it because you're going to be here until you go. And do you want your power in this lifetime? Or do you just want some external, invisible, which force to come and I hope the world end times, please come take it away. Please come take me away because it's too much. No. Somehow, some way you got told that Earth is supposed to be a certain kind of way. That it's supposed to be some kind of way, and you were sold a different story. No, you wanted to be here. That's why you're here. You just want to renege on the agreement that you made. You want to be here. You just didn't know what it was going to take, and now you want to renege on what it takes to be here. Sweetheart, it is a privilege to be human. You're going to be out of here. You get a chance to get to know aspects of yourself that you've yet to see, that would allow you to have a connection, that you would finally see what makes it worth being here. Off the coast of Cartagena, I was on an island. Y'all been to Cartagena, right? So Cartagena, Cartagena is a town on the coast of Colombia. And you can get on a boats that take you out on the coast. I mean, like an hour or so, and like little islands where you don't see anything around you. Yeah, Rosario and other islands. And I remember I went, it was like 20 of us, 30 of us on this island. And it's like a day trip. You go out there, you're there for like 7 hours and then go back. And I remember when you go there, the water is see-through. Like you can go out so far, stand and look down, and you can see all the way down. There's no land around you. There's no land. Because they take you out like an hour, and it's different islands, right? So different distance. And I remember I was standing in the water, just looking. And remember, this is not a major island. This is literally like you can walk to the other side of the island in minutes, like 10. It's not a big, okay? So it's just only a few of us there, like 20, 30, and it might be a small group there. Some of the islands had little like 4-bedroom hotels. It wasn't even like a hotel. It was more like just rooms set up with food, freaking amazing. And I remember standing in the water on this island, small little island with, I don't know, 20, 30 of us, and just looking out, no land, just standing in the water, and so penetrated by the reality, right? I was so present with the reality of I'm here on earth. And then I'm here, right? I'm standing in the ocean in this little part of the world off the coast of Cartagena, and there's so much of the world just out there. There's Thailand, there's the Philippines, there's all throughout Europe, there's Antarctica. What? There's, Alaska, there's Australia, Hawaii, right? And this water see-through, and there's a bunch of tiny, tiny fish just swimming around you. Just a bunch, just tiny, 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 tiny fish just swimming around you. And the water is like a postcard, like see-through, like clear, like light blue. And I'm sharing this with you for you to get to the privilege it is to be in a body very temporarily. Think of all the trillions of humans who have come and gone. You can be mad about, oh, we got tricked into being here on earth. You can, and even choosing to let that be the reason why you don't get into deep connection and full living. Again, you not wanting to be in the full power that would have you be a vast being. Fine, choose that. You can have it. You can have it exactly how you want it, the way you do now. Everybody has it how they want it right now. When you want more, you go about to have more. It is a privilege to be in flesh and to know what it's like to be here in flesh. If it's that bad, if it's that, because earth is ghetto and it's just entities here controlling us, making us be in these patterns, and we were tricked into being here, leave. And guess what? I literally can help you do it. Do you want to leave? Do you? Do you really want to leave? Or you like that there's entities that tricked you into being here and you can't really do and be what you want to be because the entities ain't gonna let you do it. You see how we offload, the multitude of ways we offload our power onto something else? Bitch, you're the entity. You're the entity. You just don't want the responsibility and power of being an entity. Clock that. So, open, because when you are truly open, meaning you're not in rejection of, you're not fearing, you're not, men are predators. Because see, when you ain't doing that, and there's nothing closed off about, etc., when you're fully open, there's nothing to rape. You see that? Do you feel that? Do you know that? Own all energies, viscerally, sincerely, physiologically, up your pussy, up your spine, in your head, which when you do this, you start to hit every piece of evil in you, every piece of darkness in you, everything in you that wants to blame, run, hide, play small, look for another out. How many of you are still looking for outs? I want to out. I don't. you're still looking for an out. You see, like this person here, I can't wait for the apocalypse. I want out. I want out. I want the apocalypse. I want out. I want out. I want out. Or even like just something else other than what is. Just something else other than what is. For the person who's like, do you accept or you embrace? You viscerally allow. Again, when you viscerally allow as a woman, your whole body shakes. This is why the church wants you to reject your body. This is why the church has you shaming and being afraid of anything that moves through your body. Because when a woman allows all energies, all predatory, and this is why I have my proven own all energies system. When a woman stops rejecting and being closed and scared of life, how many of you have tried to hide behind things because you're scared of life? You've eaten yourself into being overweight because you're scared of living. You went and hid behind a man because you're scared of living. You went and you found some other way to please play small, get high, because you're scared of living. See? When a woman opens this up to experience all of life, she comes alive. You can't control her. You can't fool her. You can't make her scared of nothing. She's not scared of grape. She's not scared of big money. She's not scared of attention. She's not scared of anything that the world can throw at her. So these questions you're asking, it's not cheap, quick. Oh, it's visceral work that my company teaches you, or you can go do it by yourself. You just got to commit to doing it by yourself. It is visceral. It's primal. Your body shakes. Your pussy moistens. Your spine loosens. Everywhere you're locked and tense up in your neck starts to shake. Everything that you forgot about and didn't know you were certainly comes awake to you, because the whole game has been having you be numb from the neck down, tense, scared, skeptical, blaming, projecting onto the devil and wicked entities and men and your mom and history and this and that. You see how the vastness of what I'm explaining, who I'm being, why so many of you haven't wanted it? You don't want it? Why you waste time on TikTok? It's just like, you want to stay out of actually entering the domain of vast power? And anytime anything feels like intensity, you want to run away? I gotta go. Thank you so much for being here.